Hello, 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 friends. Welcome. Happy New Year. This is our first get together of 2023. Can you believe it? We've entered into a new rotation, a new cycle around the sun. And this is such an exciting season, isn't it? There's new beginnings. There's this sense of a new dawn, a new day. We all get to be here on this journey together, experiencing life, helping one another, cheering one another on. Hello, everyone. Oh, it looks like it's someone's birthday. McCoy, happy birthday. Thank you for being here, all of you. Thank you so much. Where are you tuning in from? See, one of you guys is from Tennessee. Oh, that's awesome. Where are you watching from? Where do you find yourself this fine, beautiful day? It's sunny outside my window right now. What's it like where you are? I love how we all can connect from all over the world. It's so cool to see you guys coming from all different places, and yet we're all joining at this one point. This one point being present with one another. Happy full moon, Cindy. I hope you guys got a chance to go out and look at the full wolf moon last night. It was absolutely beautiful. We had a chance to light some candles and have a cup of tea outside under the full moon. Just share gratitude, say a prayer, enjoy the light of the moon. It's wonderful to get out into nature and just breathe, be. And that's what this is all about. We are on a journey of discovering how to do less so that we can actually live more. So, this is week 1. This is going to be a 3-week journey. And today we are going to talk about how to find our center, what truly fuels us forward in this life journey, what actually is feeding us and nourishing us so that we can move forward and grow and change and not only transform just our own lives, but the lives of those around us, so that we can create, actively participating in creating a new earth each and every day, a better earth, a more loving, encompassing earth filled with compassion and loving kindness and gratitude and grace. All these things are so important. And each day, when we individually activate those things for us in our own lives, we are actually contributing to those things on a larger scale, on another plane of reality. We are actually contributing more grace, more loving kindness as we share that with ourselves and with others. So each of our choices matters, our actions matter. They're helping to build a beautiful earth. And suddenly each of our choices have so much meaning. Each of our actions amount to something so much greater than simply what they do for us. They impact us immediately, but there's something bigger happening. We're all collectively moving towards more love, more peace, more joy as a collective earth, are we not? Thank you guys for being here. Hello, everyone who's just tuning in. I wanted to take a moment. The full moon yesterday reminded me of this journey, a very special journey to me, writing this book, Worlds Beneath. And as you can see, there's a beautiful wolf on the cover. And it's kind of the main character here. It's kind of morphing into a wolf, showing the side of him of a wolf, the side of him of a human being. And there's a huge theme in this book that comes from the beautiful story, such a blessing that has been handed down to us through incredible traditions, Native American traditions that have told the story of the two wolves battling within us, one wolf of light, the other of darkness, one of negativity, one of positivity. And depending which wolf wins depends on which one we feed, which one we give a time and attention to. And that concept, that spiritual truth is what fueled this story. So if you haven't had a chance to check out this book, this is my favorite one that I've ever written to date. And you can find the links to my books below. You can read the first one for free if you haven't had a chance to do that. It's a wonderful way to support also what I'm doing here, because I love telling stories. I love sharing stories with you, and this is my favorite. And so, if you're looking for something to read in this month of the full wolf moon cycle, this is a good one. It's available in audiobook too. So feel free to find that below with the link. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for dropping comments and letting me know where you're coming from. So let's talk about what it means to find our centers. The center of who we are, the center of our very being. This, when we find this, when we tap into this, we can begin to understand, oh, wow, this is what really is meaningful to me in life. This is who I really am. This is really what I need to be doing. Because so often society and the internet, these cultural norms start to seep in, and we begin to stack things on top of ourselves, like layer upon layer of things we need to do, places we need to go, people that we need to be, all these different versions of ourselves. We need to stay busy and productive, doing more and more and more. How can we be more productive this year? How can we get more done? I don't know about you, but as I look at the way we have transformed throughout history, human history, as I look at that, as I peer through that window of human history, what I find is that we have the productivity thing down to a T. We are constantly going and going and going, constantly doing, constantly gathering and managing and producing. I think we've reached a point where we actually need to look at how are we producing? Are we actually being more productive? Or have we reached a place of utter exhaustion? I think you see more than ever today burnout, feelings of just, I'm so inwardly tired, maybe even externally, physically tired, but internally I'm tired, I'm drained. I'm just going and going and going and trying to do more and more and more. And yet, the more we do, the less fulfilled we feel. And this promise of some sort of happiness at the end of the finish line gets pushed further and further out. We achieve that goal, but then the benchmark gets higher. We achieve that goal, and the benchmark gets higher. And we begin to wonder, will we ever reach that place of happiness? We begin to ask ourselves, all these things that I'm doing and that I'm engaging with on a daily basis, do they really matter? Am I really even doing what I love? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing with my life? What really brings me true joy, true happiness? And how do I let go of all this stuff? Maybe I haven't even identified what all of it is. Maybe I'm just like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know why. I don't even know how I got here, but I just have so much going on. And now I'm not sure how to identify what is important, what is central to who I am, and what about the rest? Can we let go of some of that? Can we release some of that with love, with a thank you for serving us for whatever length of time it did, but with a release. We can release it. We can let it go and move on. And we can transform. We can grow into something new. What I began to see, this thought came to me this morning, is that our inner landscape is just that. It's a landscape. Think of your mind, your heart, your soul as a garden. And we get to choose what we plant in that garden. Now, some of it's just growing there. We haven't actively chosen anything. Seeds have fallen, things have sprung up. Maybe some of it's even overgrown. Maybe we've decided to plant some things. And in other areas, perhaps we've overplanted and it's so crowded. There's so many plants, so many vines and trees. It's a jungle. You can barely see your way through this garden. But when it comes down to it, we are the gardeners. So we get to choose which things are growing in the gardens of our mind and which things need to be pruned back or transplanted. And then it hit me as I was thinking of this, what is the most important thing in a garden? And I began dwelling on, well, there's plants of all sorts of varieties, right? When I think of a garden, I think of hedges, I think of wildflowers, I think of trees with birds in them and vines coming down. I think of maybe a little babbling brook, right? So all this imagery, think of what comes to your mind when you think of a garden. What is the most important aspect of a garden? What plant or tree or thing is the most important thing to have in a garden? What is the most important component? And then it hit me. The most important thing to have in a garden is space. Because how can we enjoy a garden? How can we be in a garden when there is no longer any space to be in the garden, to enjoy, to soak in the sights and sounds and plants that are growing there? If it's so crowded, if it's so full and overgrown, there's no longer any room for us to just be. There's no longer any room for us to enjoy what we've cultivated. If we've been so busy planting seeds, and we're constantly just tending the garden, we end up with an overgrown garden, and there's no longer even space for us to enjoy walking there, resting there, sitting there, meditating there. There's no longer room for us to just be in this space. It's the same with our minds. When we receive this information from the world that tells us we need to be doing certain things, we need to be always going and going and going, we crowd our minds. We make our spirits heavy with the burden of all these things we have to do. So that it often feels like this sense of exhaustion, like we no longer have that space to just be in our own lives, to enjoy what we've cultivated. We're so frantically moving on to the next thing. As I began to think about these concepts, that's what led me at the beginning of the year to say, no, instead of doing more this year, I want to do less. I want to find and figure out what are the central things to me. What are the things that truly, deeply matter? What are those things? How can I do more of those, live more through those principles that are central to me, and do less of everything else, less of the things that aren't important, less of the things that don't bring joy? So the questions I began to ask myself as I began thinking about what are these things that are central to who I am? How do we figure out what is central to us? What gets us out of bed in the morning? I think meditation can be a wonderful way to get quiet, to become still, and allow our spirit to speak instead of our intellect and our to-do lists, right? So maybe take a few days, take 3 days and just meditate. Even if it's just for 5 minutes in the morning. Maybe sit out in the sunshine if it's available to you, or sit in a quiet space where you won't be disturbed and just breathe and still the mind, calm the body. Let go of all the things you have to do and come to a place of stillness, even if it's just for 5 minutes each morning or each evening. Whatever time of day is best for you, it doesn't matter. Just find stillness within yourself. And when you feel your mind is beginning to quiet down, begin to ask yourself these questions. And I've created a printable for you guys. So you'll be able to print this off and find the link below. It's a free printable, and you can actually use these as journal prompts. So I recommend, if as answers come to you, write them down. Ask yourself, what makes my heart hum? Hmm. What is it that automatically, and let your intuition answer these. Don't think about it too hard. Don't dwell on the question for too long trying to find a right answer. There's no right or wrong answers here. Go with your instinct. What is it that makes my heart hum? Like, oh, I just love this. I love engaging this. Maybe it's going for a hike in the woods. Maybe it's working on an art project that you're passionate about. Maybe it's playing with your children. Go with whatever that gut instinct is, like, oh, I love this. I love this. I could do this forever. Go with that. What makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning? What is it that, like, those first thoughts, not the thoughts of worry or anxiousness, but what are the things that make you feel excited to get out of bed? What are the things that make you stoked about your life? What are some of the things you're looking forward to? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What is something that brings genuine joy into your life? What brings you true joy? Is it seeing the sun rise over a distant hill? Is it watching your kids play together or watching your pets run around in a field? Or is it going hiking with some friends or having a deep, meaningful conversation with a loved one? Maybe it's engaging in a writing project or an art project or painting. What's something that brings true joy into your life? Maybe it's helping others, finding suffering in the world and asking yourself, what can I do to help bring light to that situation? What can I do to help? Maybe that brings joy into your life. So ask yourself, what is something that brings joy? Then ask, what is something that you love that you've put on a back burner? Maybe something that you've wanted to do for years. Maybe it's something you've wanted to do for a long time. And you've told yourself that, I can't make money off that, or I don't have time for that, or I'm not talented enough to do that. Maybe this is your year. Maybe this is the permission that you thought you needed. Maybe this is the sign you've been looking for to take that off the back burner and bring it to the front burner. Turn the heat up on that project or that trip or that idea you have to help someone or to make the world a better place or to simply take a step forward on a project that you've been thinking about for years. What is something you've had on the back burner that could be brought to the front? How would you like to use your gifts to bring joy into the world? What's something that you would love to take this thing that you're gifted in, whether it's sharing your love through your art or through videos or any type of medium, or maybe it's something that you make, maybe it's food you cook, maybe it's the way you communicate with people. Everyone has a gift, even if it's simply how you show love to those around you, how you show loving kindness to those in your life. How would you like to use that to bring joy into the world? And then ask yourself, Lastly, how do you bring joy to others? I was listening to a small YouTube clip of Sadhguru talking the other day, and a talk of his. It was a small piece, but he said two of the most important things. I'm paraphrasing here. Was how have you found joy, and how have you brought joy to others? And I thought, that is so beautiful, and that is truly what makes us feel fulfilled. That is truly what fills our soul and fuels us forward, is when we find, how can we bring joy to others, and how do we find joy? And often those two things are so interconnected. It's so connected. All of it's connected. Us bringing joy to the world, joy to others, joy to those in our lives. That's what brings us true joy, isn't it? So I think those are some of the questions that, when we begin to ask these questions, and like I said, get the printable down below. You're going to find a link. It's going to take you to a page, a Canva page, where you can print out these questions, or you can keep them on your screen and simply refer to them and journal these answers. Think about each question, maybe in a meditation, maybe in a quiet space where you can just breathe and relax and dwell on them for a little bit. And what comes to you intuitively? What comes to you intuitively as answers to these questions? And that's, I believe, how we find our center, those things that are truly central to us. Because when we begin to answer these questions, we find that so many of the things we've done, that we've felt that we have to do, we're not moving from our center. We're doing them often because we feel pressured by the world to do certain things, use certain apps, have a certain type of job, go to school for a certain amount of years, go to this school, have this job, whatever. Is that coming to us from our spirit, or is it coming to us from somewhere else? And is it even what we really, truly should be doing? Asking ourselves, inquiring, simply asking the question. You don't have to have the answer. The question is so much more important than the answer. The question in itself is part of the answer. It's becoming aware and mindful of each of our steps, rather than going through this life mindlessly, allowing whatever enters our lives to be there, whether we chose it or not. Just kind of embracing whatever comes and accepting that, when we could be active participants, artists of life, choosing each brushstroke with mindfulness and care, with compassion, with gratitude, helping to not only make our lives better, to transform our own lives, but to transform the lives of others. Someone said human beings, not human doings. I love that. I love that, Selena. Yes. We are human beings. We're not human doings. Like I always like to say, machines produce, but artists create. And we are artists of life. And we can choose to be the gardeners of our minds. We can choose what plants are growing there. Always keeping in mind that the most important thing is leaving space to enjoy. Leaving space to enjoy the garden. What is the point of having a garden if you're never going to be in it to enjoy it? Enjoy those moments of stillness, of listening to the birds, of being. Enjoy listening to your kids, or listening to your friends, or just listening to the noises around you. Be with your pets, be with your family, be with nature. Enjoy being here now, because this is what matters. Living each day presently from our center, letting go of the need to be superhero, to be a superhero, to be the one doing it all. Sometimes it can be external pressure, but sometimes it's also pressure from within. It's actually this nudge of the ego To hold on to all of that, to be that superhuman, indestructible go-getter who can get it all done, who can check all the boxes. And when we begin to pride ourselves solely off of how much we can do, we miss the divine within us. We miss the artist, and we begin to turn ourselves into a machine. We begin to view ourselves through the lens that we are machines, not artists, not gardeners, enjoying being in the garden we've created, planted, to just enjoy the sweetness of life, the abundance that is around us all the time. Thank you guys for being here, for sharing with me. Make sure you grab the printable below. And I invite you this week to spend some time simply asking yourself these questions and inquiring within, what are the immediate answers that come to you as you ask yourself about the things that are most meaningful to you? I believe this is the best way to manage our lives. Instead of asking ourselves, what things can I get rid of? What things do I not need to be doing? Let's focus on what are the main central things that are so important to us, that actually fuel us forward in our journey. All we need to do is find those, and then everything else becomes obvious. It becomes so obvious of what we need to just simply uncurl the fists, let go. Okay, wow, yeah, that doesn't align, so I can release it lovingly. That doesn't align, so I can uncurl the fists, I can let it go. And I can move forward with what my heart is just brimming with, with what my spirit is guiding me to do. We can simply let go of the rest. We don't have to struggle to choose this or that. We simply need to find, what are those central, most important things to us? Hmm. So next week, we will be delving more into saying no, letting go, and embracing liberation. That's going to be our topic as we continue on this journey. But for now, let's spend some time this week meditating, dwelling on, what are these central, most important things to me? Sending gratitude and love to those things. Letting gratitude be your guide. Gratitude is one of the most important and most intuitive guides that we could ever have in our lives. Gratitude will lead us to where we need to go. And it will help us to help ourselves and help others on this journey. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss next week's. We'll be going live again on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I love all the thoughts that you guys have been posting over here. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to end with a short meditative moment here to just wrap up this talk together. Just bringing your hands to your heart if you would like, if you feel moved. And just taking a moment to thank yourself for taking this time to tend to your spirit, to listen, to inquire, to question. It's so important to question what we're doing, Where are we going on our paths? We're all journeying together. Our paths are unique, but we are all walking through life together. And there's such a beautiful connection and unity in that. I send my love and blessings to each of you that your path may be full of light, full of joy, and that anything that is holding you down or holding you back, you can just feel so free to let go of whatever that thing is. Realize that this is new, a new journey. This is a new dawn, a new day, and we can begin whenever we decide to begin within. We can choose today, right now, to move forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I send you all my gratitude and light and love, and I wish you so much joy in your journey, my friend. Thank you for being here. I will see you next Saturday at 1 p.m. Namaste.